and he just said something rude about Asians and me being fat and stuff, and I kind of talked back to him. And I remember he just went like back on my head, like right here, because I want to be popular. I remember I hated being Asian.
For me, it was because I was really skinny. So we have the
Oh, it's the
opposites.
opposite.
They're really
Yeah, that's
fat. I
funny.
was really skinny.
I want to win. I want to make sure I get to the top for my, for my brothers, my Asian brothers, to make guys, everyone look good and myself look good. But
All right, guys, it's Giovanni. I'm here with Captain Daniel Kim.
Yeah, yeah. How you doing?
I want to talk about a little bit about how you grew up as an Asian kid,
Yeah.
Yep.
a little bit about your military career, your travels. If you want, we can talk about the reality show. And then I know you have a lot of insights to share with our viewers about like how to grow your Instagram, how to use Instagram to date.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah, of course, man. No, first of all, Giovanni, thank you, brother. You're definitely someone I respect. I know we talked kind of before, so I appreciate you giving me this platform, kind of share my story and stuff, because I know we got the same journey. So yeah, my story was I actually was chubby. I would say I wasn't obese, but I was a fat Asian kid, right? I played the violin. If you actually go, I have pictures on my social media where, yeah, I was fat, I was overweight, I got bullied a lot. So, got physically abused here and there. So, I would definitely say like I lived a life where I knew I wasn't the 1%er that gets girls, right? You see the high school quarterback, you see all these guys get girls. I just knew that I would probably forever stick with kind of girls who come to me who are attracted to me. But started with that, but then lost the weight because I went to the Air Force Academy, which is like the Air Force version of West Point. And then from there, my life kind of changed where I took my first, like, you could say, like, back in the day, right? The Game. I read the Game and I watched the movie Hitch. And then, long story short, I took my first boot camp or first lesson with a company that was actually in the book at 21. I remember I walked into a hotel room. There's like 40-year-old lawyer, 45-year-old doctor, 30-year-old computer engineer, and then 21-year-old me. And from then on, I kind of started this self-development journey. Didn't actually like get good till like 27, 28 in terms of dating women. But I took two more boot camps. That's a lot of time and money into that. And then now I'm here where I am, right? So now I'm a coach who I kind of want to pay it forward because I learned so much. And I do think a lot of students look at me and they're like, oh, like, obviously you have confidence or you're good at dating or whatever. But I actually literally changed everything about myself physically, emotionally. And even me talking to you like this is something I had to learn on my own.
When you said physically beat, did you get beat as a kid like most Asian kids?
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't get like beat up. Like, I definitely am not gonna over exaggerate, right? But I definitely remember this one incident where this guy, he's a 6'4" basketball player on the basketball team. And I actually hung out with the popular kids because I was a token Asian guy they made fun of. So I was a punch dummy. I remember they would like always take me with them. I remember we were going to class once and he just said something rude about Asians and me being fat and stuff. And I kind of talked back to him. And I remember he just went like back on my head, like right here. I don't know if you ever got slapped by your dad like that, but it's the most degrading, demasculating like feeling in the world. I don't even know that's a word, but stuff like that. I remember I got a girl's panties. Like, I guess one of the guys brought his girl's panties. They're dating at the time, I guess, but they weren't like official. But I told her she was hot to him, and I didn't know. And he threw her panties at me and said to smell it and stuff. So it was just a lot of emotional and stuff abuse as an Asian guy. But I honestly like I put myself in there because I wanted to be popular. I remember I hated being Asian, so I didn't want to hang out with the Asian kids. And that's my journey where like I literally did not be like the Asian, so I didn't want to hang out with the Asian kids. So I'd rather get fucking dehumanized. Ooh, I'd rather get dehumanized. Sorry about the language. Dehumanized. It just triggers a lot of emotion sometimes. Than hanging out with my own, the people who would actually accept me right away.
I got beat up too, actually, by bullies in high school. But for me, it was because I was really skinny. So we have the
Oh, it's the
opposites. You
opposite.
were really
Yeah, that's
fat. I
funny.
was really skinny. I was had a lot of pimples, and I was kind of a dork. Then after school, did you go to college or did you go to the military? What happened?
Yeah, so I went to a school that's like West Point, the Air Force version of West Point, pretty much. So I went to a military academy, and I had to lose weight before I went there, right? Because we had to do a fitness test and everything like that. So that was my first like confidence builder. So one thing I realized is and we teach dating and stuff, but sometimes a man just needs to get confidence from something, and sometimes our clients get it from career, finance, or whatever. But for me, that was my true confidence when I first started getting into a good school that my parents approved of, and actually, like, the bullies stopped bullying me when I became accepted into Air Force Academy, right? Because it's like the Air Force makes a big deal, West Point makes a big deal, where you're like, it's a military academy, right? So they come to you and they kind of like make you look good. So it was really cool to like kind of get my first, I guess you could say that was my first, like, if we talk about SMB, right? That was increased my SMB a lot, right? Because they're like, oh, there's a guy who's going to military academy. So that's what I did. And then I did the military for like 6 to 7 years active duty. Got out as a captain, wanted the moniker Captain Daniel Kim, right? Because it sounds cool. Um, so that's my story right after high school. But military is what really taught me discipline and kind of gave me the tools to like build confidence as like a just as a man, right? I'm not saying military is always associated with a man, but I think the military definitely taught me tools like discipline and work ethic that actually translated into dating.
So when you were in the military, did you date a lot? I mean, it's hard, right? Because you get
No,
transferred base to base.
no, yeah. So military school was brutal because it was 80% dudes, 20% girls. So like the girls who were not as attractive, they're always very confident because they're the only girls there, right? And like I still didn't fit high in the social hierarchy, right? So even in the academy, there's those athletes, there's those kind of guys, and there's like going down. So even at the academy, I struggled actually. That's why at 21, I read the game and I took a boot camp while I was still in school, right? I watched the movie Hitch, and I paid what 3,000 USD or 4,000 USD at the time. That much money because at the time it was so popular, right? Because the game just came out, just to learn. And I was still in school. I was still a senior at the academy when I took that class. I took it over like a Labor Day weekend or something. But yeah,
So when
I
you got
still
out of
didn't
the
get it.
military, were you good with girls at then, or were you still bad with girls?
No, no, because I lost weight, but like I didn't even know. So I didn't even know. So why I actually started a game also was because I didn't know like you could build this as a skill. So being dating skills, confidence, I didn't know this was a skill. I thought you just have it or you don't. And I remember this one girl I had a crush since fifth grade. She friend zoned me. I dated her my senior year of high school finally. So fifth grade, I liked her. She saw me lose weight and she found me physically somewhat attractive. And we actually ended up dating for like 2 months. And I remember like this is the girl I was gonna marry. Like I remember I was like, this is my Hollywood Disney movie. I'm gonna marry her. And I go to the academy. I go through hell for like 2 months, 3 months, and I didn't have my computer, my phone. And I remember I opened up my Facebook, and I didn't even get a Dear John letter. So Dear John was like a breakup letter, but I actually got a letter from her saying, not a letter, but a Facebook relationship that she's back with her ex, the same ex that like as her best friend I had to deal with when he cheated on her back in the day. So that's what got me really like stuck because I got heartbroken. I had zero confidence. I thought she was the one, and just didn't have the social skills or confidence to get just to talk to women or to be with men. So I got zero relationships in the 4 years of college too, which a lot of people don't know about because college is the time when you actually kind of have fun, right?
Okay, damn. That was your motivation almost.
Yeah, man, I had to because, like, dude, I didn't get over this girl since what 2008 to 2018. So it took me 8 years to get over her. I actually started this whole journey of dating because of her. Like, I wanted to get in shape, I wanted to be successful, I wanted to get a nice BMW. So all the typical things that Asian guys are taught, right? Get a nice car, a nice job. Like, I was a military officer. I was like, fuck, fudge, yeah. Like, I got all the things I need to get the girl, and she still rejected me when I went back. So I even took the boot camp because of her. So all the things I learned in boot camp, I tried it on her, but it never worked because it was I was too emotional. I didn't know how to deal with my emotions at the time.
How come it took you so long to get over her? You said 7 or 8 years.
Um, I mean, I'll be vulnerable here. Like I believed in that love, right? Like my parents watched Korean dramas, my brother did, and my parents are still together. So I didn't really believe in this like dating a lot of people culture. I actually was like, in a way, not against it, but I'd rather have just one girl I married, right? I was a typical like fall in love with one girl and stay with her for the rest of my life if I could. And yeah, that she was just my love, man, my first love, my first crush. Like she was everything to me at the time. Which even look at how I sound, right? She was everything to me, right? That sounds nice, that sounds romantic, but that's also creepy and obsessive, you know. But at the time, she just made me so happy, right? She was like that dream girl. It was like that first feeling. I don't know if you felt it, Giovanni, but you ever like felt love, like love for a girl, like a real love, where like you want to do everything for her, you want to protect her. She's like, you want her to be your baby mama, kind of thing. And I actually felt that with her. So she was my everything, man. I just loved her so much. But it didn't work out. I still had this hope. But I finally got over her after like three. It was a letter. I got a letter from her where she pretty much said, like, I did not feel the same way you felt about me. And and yeah, she pretty much saying, like, you gotta stop talking to me. So I kind of realized, like, dude, you're becoming a little bit too much. Because even then, I dated other girls, I still want her. That's how much I liked her, But eventually I realized, like, she's not even the same girl that I fell in love with. And I had to let this go for me to progress in my life and actually learn how to, you know, be more confident, be the best version of myself. And it's letting her go.
Yeah, I understand because that storyline is very addictive, especially when you're new. It's the storyline of this is the one. And
Yeah.
you have her not being with you. You're the one that's supposed to be with you is not with you. It just drives you crazy. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah, and then when they tell you, you just like it's not clear when they're telling you I don't want to talk to you or this is not meant to be. You're just like, but you just don't know yet. I already know
Yeah.
the yeah,
Yeah. And it's
yeah,
not her fault. She was a great girl. It's just one thing we have to understand about women, they're not men. And like I'm not trying to get gender or whatever. I'm just telling you, like women, not all women like confrontation. And I think it's not like she tried to drag it on. It's just she made clear signs. If she's not messaging back, it's a clear sign. But as guys, we're always like, there's still hope, right? Like there's a way. Because we're very logical. We want to create like this solution. But yeah, man. And also we're indoctrinated by a young age that love is this amazing thing where it's like perfect, but it's not. Love is actually messy as heck. So it's my own responsibility that I could have probably got over it a lot faster, but I'm so grateful I like went through this whole journey because I improved myself every single year just to get her. Like it was like constant improvement. I didn't even know if she cared, but I was just like, this is what she wants, I think, and boom, boom. And eventually I was like, I got something on that for her, and I did it for me then.
So when you got over her, did you go on a journey? Did you become an F boy? Like what happened after that?
Oh yeah, so my skills got caught up. So I remember like I took the boot camp, didn't get her back. So for 5 years, I just didn't know what to do because I was in the States. And I'm gonna tell you guys honest, like in the States, I still struggled from 21 to 25, 26. And then I got to Korea. So with Korea, what happened was I finally felt like, and this was my choice, I felt like I was just a guy. I wasn't the token Asian guy, right? Oh, you're good looking for an Asian guy, you're this Asian guy. Oh, that Asian guy, that tall Asian guy, the good looking one, the muscle one. So even if like people said that about me and you could see it as a compliment, it wasn't because I was just that Asian guy. And actually I didn't look that great when I was 21 to 25. But when I got to Korea, I remember I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start like learning this stuff, learning these skills, and reapply what I learned at 21. So I started dressing better. I remember at that time the fashion was all suits, and there's no social media, so it had to be all. There's no dating apps, bro. So it was all like approaching girls cold. And I remember like I finally got into it where at first actually, I got results and kind of became a F boy, I guess, with foreigners. So a lot of foreigners in Asia, like they're open to dating Asian guys. It's just how it is, right? They're just super open. And in Korea, the foreigners really like Korean guys. Not, I'm not saying that all do. Like, please, I'm not saying that, but it's just like they are open to dating us. So at first, I was dating a lot of foreigners, and then I met a crew that like wanted to get better with women too and dating. And I remember like these guys were just like talking to women on the street constantly. I was like, what the hell are you guys doing? And I remember I just talked to them somehow. Oh, actually no, I got linked up to them from a friend in the States. And then I started like going out with them a little bit, and like it was so crazy. But I remember like first like talking to a girl on the street was like I got her number, but she ghosted me, and I got so butthurt. But like I still love that exhilarating feeling of not approaching her, but after you approach her, even if you get rejected or not, you're like, because the other guys who do it with you, they know the pain. So they're like, oh man, bro, like that was awesome. So they don't rip on you. Like guys who like do this together, like we all know we're not gonna rip on each other. So I just love the camaraderie. And then we literally, bro, like 1 year I remember I had a U.S. military job. I would wake up at what 6, 7 in the morning, work out at lunch, and then I'll get off at 5, and then I would take the bus to the main city called Seoul, Korea, for 1 hour, and I would watch all these at the time. RSD was big at the time, and all these companies, right? So I would watch their videos, those videos that everyone like kind of what pirated and all that stuff, but there's some people bought it and you share it, whatever. But I would watch those for an hour and I would just apply those skills every day. And I did that for 365 days. And sometimes I would miss my last bus and take the morning bus at 5 in the morning to just make it to work. I did that for 1 year straight, bro. And it just built my confidence to another level. And doing it in Korea, where I was neutral, right? I was just a Korean guy, not just a guy. I mean, I was just a guy. Like they just called me Danny Kim. That's Daniel Kim, right? They just called me Daniel Kim. So that built a lot of confidence, and that's where I took off. I got this confidence, then came to LA. I took another boot camp. So I was a student before I was a student, this coach. So I got to give credit to my mentors, right? So ABC Attraction, I take it with JT. I took it with another company, Pick Up Asia. JT, so JT's the OG, right? Like he literally met and worked with Mystery for a bit, right? Like he literally gained like that. He was one of the OG guys, right? He was the guy who actually was the first Asian dating coach, right? And I remember, yeah, just working him was honestly like, was he tough? Of course, like the thing is, he's been in the game for so long, right? And he has to figure out all the stuff. So I think in terms of everything he taught me so much because I actually did a long-term program with him. So all his immersions, everything that you see in his programs, I did all of them as a student. I actually did all of it. So you gotta understand, like I was a student first, and then he saw skill enough for me to intern. And I know a couple other guys interned for him, but it was an experience that I'll never forget. It actually gave me the passion to kind of want to teach my own way, because it just showed me that like this is something that I'm really passionate about, and he gave me opportunity. So I'm definitely grateful for him helping me out.
It sounds like you've done. How many approaches would you say you've done in your whole life? If you're
Ooh, man, if I took my whole life, bro, dude. So here's the thing. I don't think I'm at 10,000 hours, but I would definitely say like, the Malcolm Gladwell Outliers book.
Yeah,
right?
10,000 hours to mastery.
Yeah, I would definitely say like I'm in the thousands approaches for sure, like 100. Yeah, because of my numbers, right? Just I'm probably definitely like mid to. I never counted, right? But 5,000 above for sure. And definitely based on where I believe my confidence, my skills are, I'm definitely 5,000 because I'm not an expert. I'm not mastery right now, right? So I'm at 5,000 to above for sure.
Nice. I did the math. I have like 35,000 approaches, which is insane.
What?
I know, it's
That's
pretty insane.
insane. That's actually a lot more than me, bro. Mad respect to that. Mad respect.
Thank you. I sucked for a long
Yeah.
time. Did you start coaching before you got on this reality show, or did you start coaching? Were you a coach before that?
Oh, I was actually coaching before that. And
Okay.
I felt like the show was my way of showing that my skills work, right? So, I went on the show, and probably nobody watched it, but it was supposed to be on NBC, and it got really big. But it was pretty much 20 guys fighting for one girl. It's like the Bachelorette, Bridgerton version. And then I made it 6 or 7. I made it basically to 7 out of 20 guys.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty
these guys
good.
were all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't win, and then obviously I can't talk about all the behind the scenes, but like there's a reason for why. I definitely felt like I was confident where like I really could have done my best, but there's restrictions on shows, right? So I just 6 out of 20 is still good for an Asian guy, and I was the only Asian guy on that.
Yeah, most Asian guys get voted off like the first 2 rounds, like they're out.
I think I'm the only Asian guy who made it past the first round. If I actually try Googling it, there's one guy on FBoy Island who's like a model guy, but he got voted out the first time.
Peter on FBoy Island. He's back for season 2, actually.
Oh, hell yeah, nice. Yeah, he got off first season. I was like,
he got voted off
damn.
first season.
Yeah. First episode, and I was like, "What? He's a good-looking dude." Like, oh my dude, you're a good-looking guy. Like, how did that happen? Yeah. So, I actually made it halfway, but obviously the show didn't, get shown to the masses. So, I don't know if I'll do any more dating shows, but it was a great experience for sure.
Did you apply to the show? Or did they reach out to you?
So this is where we're going to talk about Instagram, right? So they reached out to me, and I went through the whole interview process. But a casting agent first interviewed me for it based on my Instagram.
When you're on the show, were you like just doing it to compete, or did you actually like the girl? Because I feel like most of the guys are just doing it to compete so they can get more episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me, okay. So a lot of people watch the show on right now. It's on Peacock. It should still be on Peacock because I don't think they'll take it away. Well, if you watch the show, I'm the guy who broke the record for most elimination dances. So how do you get eliminated as a dance? I've been on the dance floor 5 times. So imagine my mindset, like I'm trying not to get voted off. And there's obviously the first part, like I want to win. I want to make sure I get to the top for my, for my brothers, my Asian brothers, to make everyone look good and myself look good. But I'll be honest, like I did actually like her at the moment. Do I look back and like say I didn't? Like I'm telling you the truth. Like I obviously did like her. Was it part of it? Is because I was convincing myself that I did like her because I'm on the dance floor about eliminated? Yeah. But we're in like this alternate reality, right? We're wearing these costumes. And to me, and think about it, we're shooting and she's the only girl I meet, right? And also there's that competitiveness where we're fighting against other guys. So you do convince. Like, how can you fight for someone you don't like? At least for me, like I couldn't fight myself and do the things that like and really like do what I wanted to do and fight for her if I didn't really like her. There's no way. Like in my way, like because think about it, in real dating, if you don't really like a girl, what do? You just move on, right? Like if she rejects us, I'm like, yeah, she's hot, but is it worth it? No, it's those girls that you really like that you put an extra effort. You're like, how do I get her? Like, dude, it took me 8 years to just try to get one girl. Imagine like for me to be on the show. So there's both, right? There's both. I wanted to win the show for sure, but I definitely convinced myself that I liked her. But did I like her for her? I don't know because I don't know who she really was because I actually didn't get a lot of time with her. I actually didn't get a date with her, and I still that's the crazy part, right? I didn't even get a date with her, and I still made it till 6 or 7 out of 20.
Are you really a good dancer? Is that why you passed all the eliminations?
So actually, the dancing skills were not that great. I was not the best dancer. It's but what I said. So there's a couple things I did what I said. So you got a chance to talk to her on the dance floor. So you had this last minute chance to like convince her why you want to stay. So I do think one of the things. So this was interesting, right? Because I was more genuine. So I'm not saying in my other dating world I'm not genuine, but with her, you can't really play games, right? There's no like you should play games in real dating too, but like there's a little bit of game. There's a push pull here and there, but with her, you don't got time, so you kind of have to like really you getting competing against 20 other guys, right? So
Yeah.
uh, I would say that actually were my dates, right? The dancing was my dates with her, so I think that helped out.
Yeah, and most guys are usually, in those like situations, they have a limited time. They just blurt out platitudes like, "Oh yeah, you're the one. Like I'm supposed to be with you." They don't know how to talk like in a real way.
Actually, yeah, because in the first episode when like I was on the elimination on the first dance floor, I didn't say that. I didn't say you're the one. Like, there's no way because that's too
Yeah.
much, right? You gotta have to calibrate and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay, so talk to us about Instagram because you're big on it, and then I think a lot of viewers are curious about it. So you have a philosophy about how to make your Instagram work for you when it comes to dates, right? So
yes,
for a
yes.
guy who just, like for me, for example, I have 600 to 1,000 followers. I don't really go on Instagram that much. How can I, if I wanted to do something, how would I start? Like, how did you start?
Okay, so how I started my Instagram, right? I only had like 400, 600 followers, right? And I remember I actually became friends with this influencer. He had like 100K followers, and we became friends. So he just took me around. He took me around, and we would take pictures. So he would take pictures of him, and sometimes they would just do it for me. So he's a bro. He was total bro. No, they would do legit Sony camera sort of stuff. So like now the iPhone is so good, right? You could do both, right? But you got to learn how to angle and pose. So I kind of definitely learned from my friend. Shout out to Nick Pauloff. I gotta give him a shout out because he just helped me out so much. He gave me into the Instagram world. And honestly, like my first followers were a couple thousand followers were from like this groups where they would kind of share a post and whatever. But he kind of really helped me out get the followers. And there's one program that you pay, and Instagram completely banned it. But like you follow them and unfollow them. That was I definitely will say I did use that. But the whole point is not about followers, right? You can have all the followers you want. Followers are actually very important, but it's actually about your pictures, right? Do you actually look like someone who had 5K, whatever? So what I did was initially my pictures were all right? I would get nice pictures done, but I'll do angles, and the photographer's filter was so important, right? If the photographer filtered it correctly, then you look great. So then like, yeah, because good looking guys, whatever, like even at that time, I wasn't the best looking. I was still a little bit chubby or not as good looking. How do you make yourself look good? So there's certain apps. Like you definitely shouldn't catfish, but let's be honest, audience, how much have you got catfish, right? So if you feel like you're not the most attractive dude, of course, don't catfish. Don't put hair on your hair when you're bald, right? That kind of stuff. Don't put abs on your body if you don't have abs. But how do you make yourself look good, right? So there's certain apps, right? I know in Korea and Asia, there's so many apps here that just help you. They get catfish more than anything here, but just make your skin cleaner, right? So what I do with students, or at least with clients that I work with, I personally edit their photos for them first. Like, if let's say they have a huge acne problem, first I would be like, hey, you need to get that fixed first. So if they're in the process of getting it fixed, I start kind of photo editing where their acne scars are not as bad, right? Also, let's say they go on a fitness program with me and they start to lose weight. I'll make their face a little bit slimmer. So I'll give you another app that every girl uses and everyone in America probably knows about, like Facetune, right? Everyone Facetunes a little bit, right? Also, I think Facetune has a thing where you could actually make yourself taller. So if you're a shorter guy, yeah, I know you're short, but I have ways to make you look taller and actually be taller. There's some secrets that I have that I learned while I was in Asia and everything to actually make you taller physically by at least like 3 centimeters, and also angle your photos to make you look taller. So, because all my students don't look like me, so I know what I have to do. I know what students I work with, but I actually work with some tall students too. But like what I'm saying is, I need to work with them to believe. So I'm all about transformation. So with Instagram, I portray not a fake image, right? Like I think that's something I want to really harp on. I try not to fake it because I do. Sometimes students look at the pictures I edit for them, they're like, "Oh, that's a little too good looking for me." But there's other students like, "Oh, dude, that's awesome." But what I do is I don't. I only work with students who are willing to also transform in reality, because I'm not just gonna fake you and then you get butthurt because a girl says you catfish me. So I don't want to make you feel that because that feels horrible. I actually have never gotten that either, and none of my students till this day has gotten called catfish. So it's because I only work with students who's willing to transform, who's willing to do the fashion, right? So I do fashion. I remember even one student, like I remember he had what do you have? We had to get some. Oh, he had dark circles, so I actually made him put makeup for the photos because he always had this problem with dark circles. I said, "What's your issue with your dark circles?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I went to the doctor. Well, I want you to go to a skin doctor and get this fixed." Or if a student has a huge mole, I haven't dealt with one, but I'll be like, "Take that off." Right? It's not that expensive to take a mole off. Like if that mole is going to affect your face, why would you keep it? Right? But that's my. I don't tell them to do it. I just offer them. But like I do haircuts, right? Huge haircut transformations. Because every student is different. I need to make them look a certain way, right? Based on their strength. If a student's very overweight, to be honest, if he's super overweight, I probably won't work with him unless he's willing to do a fitness transformation with me. So he looks better in his photos. So now back to the Instagram question, my bad. There's more to it than just looking, taking nice pictures, but there's more to it. There's a lot behind the scenes.
I feel like what you're doing is no less than what every girl does with the Facetune, face apps, the makeup, the push-up bra. It's none of that. So if they're playing that game, how do you compete as a guy? And most men don't even think about that. So
exactly. And that's why I coach, because I'm like, wait, the girls are looking extra hot. And I've never to this day seen a girl who looks exactly like her pictures, okay? But I don't, as long as she's pretty, like I'm still cool with it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm telling these guys, but some guys, maybe they're just physically not, I can't do it, right? And they don't want to change. Then I say, okay, I ask them what value you want to bring. So I think some other guys talked about this, but this is also what I teach. I'm like, okay, do you want to be, but then they don't want to be gold, they don't want to try gold diggers. So I remember like, normal guys versus rich guys, where it doesn't matter. You got to stop putting these numbers. So how I teach first, my first lesson actually goes with SMV. So I talk about sexual market value. I ask them, what is your strength in terms of this dating market value? Like, what is your strength? And if you don't have one, we need to find one. Because I can't market yourself. You guys just see Instagram as a landing page. It's your marketing dating card.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even kidding, bro. Like I remember a girl reach out to me recently after she broke up because she follows me on Instagram because I just blew up. So my status on Instagram blew up and she follows me. She finally saw my stories and now she's messaging me 4 months ago, 6 months. I remember another guy, a potential client, was talking about like, how do I get a girl back? You know what's the best way to get a girl back? To live your best life. But before, you gotta have to message her and do a D2 text and be like, oh, I'm looking so good right now. No. Now you have her follow you on Instagram. She sees that you're going to Dubai or nice countries or whatever you're traveling to. Obviously, hopefully I work with clients who usually have some kind of financial stability where they could travel. Because for me, if a student doesn't have a life that's attractive, there's no way I could teach them all the words, all the tactics, all the BS stuff that we learned when I was younger. But if you don't live a life where you could be attractive, then you're just fake. It's like that thing. It's like, oh, a guy convinces a girl to be with him, but he lives in a mom basement, right? Like, there's more to this. Like now, this dating journey has become so big where you can't just know how to talk. It's just not social skills. And this is all my personal opinion, but this is my own journey, right? So Instagram is now, I think it's a must. Like it's a must-have requirement now in dating. Because when you go talk to a cold approach girl, what's more higher compliance, right? What's harder, what's easier for the girl to give you? An Instagram or a phone number? Always Instagram. And also, sometimes you don't have time to talk to her. She's in the subway, whatever. It's like, hey, what's your Instagram? Boom. You get her Instagram. And then all of a sudden, she doesn't know nothing about you. And then she looks at your Instagram. She's like, ooh, he has 5K followers. He has 10K followers. Oh, but look at his pictures. Oh, that's his website. Oh, he's a pilot. Oh, he travels the world. Oh, okay. I think I could message him. And then, you know what's crazy? It's so funny because I remember one of my students, we came out and we ate lunch together, and he saw the girl that I was talking to. And honestly, like when I met her in person, it's the first time I messaged her on DM, and I got her out on DM. But like we looked at her in person, we're like, okay, she's cute, but not as cute as pictures. But I remember I just said get her Instagram too. He got her Instagram. He started looking at her pictures, and he's like, oh wow, she's pretty. I'm like, dude, you just saw her in real life. What are you doing? Like, and it's mind blowing because real life. But that's how the world's turning. We're online, bro. We're online.
Like, do you know how many models I've dated or playmates where
yeah.
Instagram and I see them in person, and it's like two different people.
Exactly.
I'm like, yeah, that was Shannon. He was like, wait, that was the girl you showed me on Instagram, really?
It's mind blowing, right? But at least girls are using it, right? Girls are using it to their advantage. But men, you're trying to compete with good looking guys, right? So here's another thing: good looking guys, models, they're just going to look good, right? They don't need to edit their photos a little bit. They're just models. They're born to be on camera. But you think every girl on Instagram is born to be on camera? No, they probably edit it a little bit. And I'm not talking about catfish, please. Like I'm really not talking about catfish. I edit my photos to this day. Out of client privileges, I'm not going to share, but like all my students, trust me, like they never been told they're catfish. So I'm not talking about catfishing and editing so much where I put abs on your body. I'm talking about what I see in you. So when I look at you, Giovanni, I'm like, okay, what does a 10 Giovanni look like physically?
Yeah,
I'll work with you.
Less blemishes on the face, a little brighter, whiter teeth.
Exactly.
Post editing. Yeah. My models don't look like me. They look like, model Giovanni, not me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.